Three of Hollywood's toughest leading men put on 4-inch heels, and it worked. In 1995, Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, and John Leguizamo starred in To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, a road trip comedy about three drag queens driving across America that became one of the most quietly wild productions of its decade. You probably watched it. What you missed was everything happening off camera. Real lawsuits, an almost physical fight in full drag, a corn cob stuffed somewhere it had absolutely no business being. 12 facts, all verified, all genuinely strange. This film fought for every inch of its existence before it even reached a single theater, and by the end of this, you will never watch it the same way again. Fact number 1. A corn cob. In the film, the villainous Sheriff Dollard, played by Chris Penn, pulls the queens over and searches Patrick Swayze's character. Right before the cameras rolled, Swayze quietly tucked a raw corn cob down his underwear without telling a single person on set. When Penn reached under the dress and felt something completely unexpected, that wide-eyed, horrified expression on his face was 100% unscripted. Swayze wanted an authentic reaction and got one, delivering one of the film's most unforgettable moments with a vegetable. No prompting, no rehearsal, just a man, a dress, and a corn cob. Committed, completely. Fact number 2 changes how you see the title forever. Wong Foo was a real person. Back in the 1980s, screenwriter Douglas Carter Beane walked into a Chinese restaurant called the China Bowl in Times Square and spotted an autographed photo of actress Julie Newmar hanging on the wall. The inscription read exactly this: To Wong Foo, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. Wong Foo was the legendary head bartender at that restaurant, a beloved figure who apparently made enough of an impression on Julie Newmar to earn a personal dedication. One photo on a restaurant wall became the foundation of an entire Hollywood film. That's it, full stop. Fact number 3 involves a star who nearly reshaped this film entirely. Robin Williams was offered the lead role of Vita and seriously considered it. He read the script for The Birdcage on a plane and reportedly laughed so hard the flight attendants grew genuinely alarmed. He went through the complete makeup and look test, put on the full look, stared at his reflection, and turned himself down. He read the script on a plane and reportedly laughed so hard the flight attendants grew genuinely alarmed. He was directly offered the role, sat in the makeup chair, put on the full look, stared at his reflection, and turned himself down. His exact reasoning? He didn't feel pretty enough for the role. Williams still appeared in the film in a brief, uncredited cameo that most viewers walk right past without catching. Can you imagine this film with Williams in the lead? The whole tone shifts. Swayze brought a quiet grace and genuine emotional depth to Vita that made the character iconic, and it happened partly because Williams had the self-awareness to step back. Fact number 4 dragged actual lawyers into the picture. John Leguizamo's character carries the name Chichi Rodriguez. That name also belongs to a real, celebrated professional golfer, one of the most beloved figures in the sport's history. He did not find the association funny. The golfer sued the studio over the use of his name for a drag queen character. The case went to settlement. The dollar amount stayed buried, and not one frame of the finished film changed. Did that settlement sting the studio financially? Almost certainly. Did it affect the story? Not at all. Fact number 5 makes every shared scene between Swayze and Leguizamo feel completely different in hindsight. Swayze treated this production with the same discipline he carried into every role: script-focused, methodical, deeply prepared. Leguizamo improvised constantly. New lines, new physicality, new choices nobody agreed on beforehand. The creative friction between those two approaches built until it nearly turned physical. Two grown men dressed in full gowns, wigs in place, heavy makeup set, almost throwing punches on a film set. Nobody stopped to consider how that looked from the outside. Nobody. Fact number 6 is pure audacity. Leguizamo showed up to his audition already dressed and styled as a woman, held character for the entire session, and refused to break it for even a single moment. The casting team had no idea who they were actually meeting. No introduction, no name dropped casually, just a performance from start to finish, and it won him the role on the spot. That's how you steal a part in Hollywood. No safety net, just nerve. Fact number 7. Added authenticity the film genuinely needed to work. The studio brought in real drag icons, RuPaul, Lady Bunny, and Coco Peru, to coach the 3 leads before production began. This was weeks of intensive training covering how to walk in heels without breaking an ankle, how to shift vocal registers, and how to carry the specific physical confidence the drag performance demands. The groundwork is why these portrayals aged better than most Hollywood attempts at this kind of story, because the 3 actors weren't guessing or imitating. They were taught by people who built careers doing it. Fact number 8 is a casting contradiction the studio never bothered advertising. Chichi Rodriguez is the youngest character in the film, the baby of the trio, still growing, still learning, leaning on the experienced queens for direction. John Leguizamo, who played Chi-Chi, was 34 years old during production, 2 full years older than Wesley Snipes, who played Wesley Snipes, who played the cynical Noxeema Jackson. The youngest character on screen was portrayed by an actor older than the one playing Noxeema, despite Noxeema being the more experienced queen. Classic Hollywood irony, sitting quietly in plain sight for 30 years. Fact number 9 is the most personal story in this entire list. Dozens of well-known male actors auditioned for Vita's role. Swayze won it not with technical precision, but with honesty. During his audition, he opened up about his background as a ballet dancer and the complicated relationship he had with his mother, a dance teacher whose intense, demanding perfectionism created deep personal tension between them. Director Beeban Kidron recognized immediately that this wasn't a performance, it was something lived. Vita became a character partly built from Swayze's own history, which is exactly why every moment of vulnerability she shows on screen never feels manufactured. Fact number 10 exposed exactly how frightened the industry was of this film. McDonald's, Pepsi, and Holiday Inn all declined any product placement or promotional connection. Too risky, too closely tied to a story about drag queens in 1995. Coca-Cola disagreed and signed on, which is why a prominent Coca-Cola billboard sits clearly visible in one of the film's central scenes. Did walking away from that film hurt those other brands? Probably not in the short term, but the contrast between who flinched and who didn't says everything about confidence in storytelling. Fact number 11 is about the person who refused to let the project collapse. Virtually every male director approached for this film passed on it. The subject matter, the commercial uncertainty, the unconventional casting choices, nobody wanted the exposure. British director Beeban Kidron accepted the assignment, and she directed this chaotic, physically demanding road trip production while pregnant. A cast with genuine creative tension, a nervous studio watching every decision, locations spread across the country. All of it landed on one person who said yes when the entire industry said no. That level of commitment almost never gets acknowledged. Fact number 12 is the emotional core of everything Wesley Snipes brought to the screen. He refused to build Noxeema Jackson from imitation or surface-level choices. Instead, he constructed her personality by drawing from key figures who inspired him: his grandmother, Tina Turner, and Bette Midler. Each woman contributed something distinct: warmth, protectiveness, sharpness, grace. Noxeema never felt like a costume or a performance. She felt like someone you had met before, someone whose history you could sense behind every word she said. That's why audiences who knew nothing about drag culture still connected with her completely. Snipes brought genuine love to that character, and 30 years later, every frame of it still shows. 12 facts. One film that fought every obstacle, legal, creative, personal, financial, before it ever reached audiences. The autograph photo of Julie Newmar dedicated to a bartender that started everything. Which of these facts caught you completely off guard? Drop it in the comments below. And if you want more of this kind of behind-the-scenes truth, subscribe, because the real stories are always stranger than anything on the screen.